Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, we're Mackie and Amanda. I'm Mackie.
I'm Amanda.
And we're the Spooky Boos.
I don't even know how to describe what today's video is about because it wasn't something that I've ever experienced myself until this week.
I don't even know what to say. It was, for me, like it might be a shorter video, but for me, I was saying I think this is one of the craziest things like you've ever done spiritually. Yes.
You know what? I think that this video, like how you said it's going to be short, it is going to be shorter, but it's going to be, I think, for a lot of people, going to answer some questions and be super healing. Did you just hear a bell ding?
Yes, I did.
And be super healing for a lot of people because a lot of people have dealt with pet loss, you know? So not hair loss. This isn't sponsored. It's too soon.
I wish it was sponsored.
No, yeah, wait, because you also lost your hair.
Yeah, duh.
I didn't think about that. Just got lucky. No, a lot of people
just got lucky.
A lot of people have dealt with it.
Yeah, and I mean, pets are literally like family.
Yeah.
When you grow up with a pet, especially longer than you've been, like, yeah, I had Sammy longer than I have lived without Sammy, like by far.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
So, lady.
I know.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So, if you don't know what we're talking about,
Mackie's dogs.
My dog's dead. For some of you who might have been on a live a few nights ago, I was talking about how Sammy and Benny were being put down on the same day the next morning. Benny survived the grasps of death.
Once again.
He's 19 years old. He's a Jack Russell Chihuahua, and last
still
minute,
kicking.
yeah, like he's still kicking. Like it's not his time yet. But Sammy, she was a 16-year-old golden retriever.
It's about my
So she was a 16-year-old golden retriever, and she was perfectly healthy her entire life. Like literally, she was a big lady, like had a thyroid issue, but she was perfectly healthy. And up until the last month, she kind of started to go downhill, like mentally started losing it. She started barking, which she never did ever in her life, so that was a little worrisome.
She just wasn't feeling good.
Yeah. And the past week, she just really went downhill to the point where she just could not stand up anymore. Her hips gave out, and she was basically having accidents like on herself because she couldn't get up, and you could just tell by looking at her it's her time. She was ready.
So this is super crazy. I of course knew that this was happening. We had talked about it the night before, but like I didn't know any other details. I also knew you were gonna like be home like during it.
Yeah.
And that morning I woke up at around like 9:30, 9:45, like 10, like in a sweat.
You said 9:30.
Okay.
So
I couldn't remember for
yes,
sure.
9:30.
Just like in a sweat. And I had the fan on in my room. That just doesn't happen to me. And then, you know, when you go back to sleep and you kind of dream, but you're also awake.
Yes.
Like that's kind of the state that I was in.
I'm just gonna say it was around 10:30 and I texted you and I was basically like, oh, it's done, blah blah blah, and that's when you're like, I don't want to make this about me.
No, yeah, I texted you. I was like, how are you feeling?
Yeah, that's what it was.
And you told me that like it was
oh,
done.
Shoot. Oh, I'm scooching over.
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Our bad.
Sorry.
Our bad. No worries.
Yeah.
No rush.
Oh, it's okay.
No worries.
No, you're totally fine.
That's our bad. Yeah, so I just asked you how you were doing. You told me like, you know, it was over, whatever. Yeah. Sent me a picture of Benjamin Button.
Yes, and I was like, we survived.
And you asked me like, had I seen her? And it's okay. You asked me if I had seen Big Lady yet, and I was like,
yeah,
I haven't.
And then, yeah, you're like, I don't want to make this about me, but... And I'm like, no,
so
make
much.
It about you.
Well, it's just what I was about to describe, and what I'm about to describe is something I've never experienced, and it was so fucking crazy. Like, unbelievably crazy.
Before you even get into it, I just want to say, I didn't want to know, like, any of the details. I didn't want to talk to the people who are coming to, like, set up. Like, I just wanted
for Big Lady's thing.
Yeah, for her thing, because they came and did it at my house. And I just wanted to be able to walk out there before they did it, like hug her goodbye, tell her goodbye one more time, and then when they were about to inject her, I wanted to be able to leave. So I didn't want to know any details at all.
I was obviously in San Diego 80 something miles away. You're safe.
Okay.
You're not allergic, are you?
No, but I literally got stung last week, remember, when I was minding my own business at the beach. Well, I guess I stepped on him, but he wasn't supposed to be there.
I stepped on him.
Yes.
I'm allergic. Respect. Bees and beets.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah, what I'm like about to describe for me is something I've never experienced, and you didn't want to be there, so you didn't know any of this, but you and your parents called me, and you were like, just like tell me everything that you were feeling, or like that you, like, what did you see, like what happened?
Yeah.
And after I fell back asleep and I was talking about how you're kind of in that dream state, I wasn't even half awake, like I just knew that I was, I'm just gonna come out with it.
Yeah.
It was as if I was in your house and I was either the same height as the dog, so I would assume like I wouldn't even be sitting down like this. It would be if I was laying down on my stomach and like kind of like baby cobra in it, if anyone's in yoga right now.
Yeah.
But like I'm at that height, you know, like laying down with Benny and with Sammy. And you go describe everything that was in the room. Like, what did you see?
Yeah, like what happened? Like, what did you see? Yeah.
And so I was
like, because you said I had went to sleep, and like the second I went back to sleep, I opened my eyes and I was in your house, and I was like, what did you see? Like, trying to see if there's any details that I could be like, oh my gosh, yes, even though I knew so little myself. But
so that's why I was like, your parents are also there.
Yeah.
I was at the same height as Miss Big Lady and Benny, the other one, and I saw, you know, when I don't know what your dog's Kaya does, but my dog too, if you kind of reach out and they'll like shake your hand for a treat.
Yeah.
Like Big Lady did that, like when she was laying on her side, and like I knew. I didn't even know that the vet was coming to your house.
Yeah.
So when I started, I was like, I know that the vet came to your house. And you hadn't told me that you guys were doing it there.
No, I just said that we were putting them down in the morning.
And so a lot of, like, I remember when I had to call for my old kitty, like, I took him to the vet, you know, I just wouldn't even think about.
And that's what we've done with all my other animals that have passed away. With Lynx and with Buddy, those are the only two animals I've had that died. Both of them we've taken them to the vet.
So I knew that the vet came to your house. And you're like, that's true. Like, that's exactly what happened. And then I couldn't tell her hair color because I don't feel like from where I was at that height, like at that point of view, I don't know. I ever look up at her. But I heard her voice and I recognized that it wasn't you and it wasn't your mom. It was another girl. And so I knew that the vet was a woman. And you were like, absolutely, like, that's true. And then the rest, you didn't know any of this because you had left. Do I have that right?
Yeah, except there's one detail that I glanced at, and we'll talk about it. Oh, and I just want to say, the other times that my animals have been put down, it's been guys who've done it. So I just want to put that fact in there too, just to say,
The next thing that I saw was I heard this woman's voice again that I didn't recognize, talking about like what she was going to be doing. Trigger warning, I guess, for everyone. But she talked about the first thing that she was going to inject. It was like a sedative. And it was to make sure that she was calm and relaxed and just that she had felt no pain. You know what I mean? She didn't feel anything. And then the next thing she got would be like the injection. When I described that, your mom or your dad, I don't remember who it was.
My mom,
It was like, that's word for word exactly what the vet said.
She freaked out because my mom's the only one who talked to the lady. She said it was in the garage because they were starting to talk about it in the house, and my dad was like, go in the garage, so Sammy wouldn't hear it, basically. But so they went in the garage, and the lady was just walking her through it, and my mom kept yelling like, word for word, you just said it word for word what the lady told me and how she described it to me in the exact same way.
And then the next thing I saw, again, trigger warning, was like blue, because everything I was seeing, it literally, I know it sounds so crazy, but a lot of what we do is pretty crazy. But it was like I was seeing it through a dog's point of view. I saw the blue cap. Like, I know that the actual tip of a needle's not blue because I've had enough like little IVs, and like we have horses, so like the horse vets and stuff. But like worked with foster kittens, but I saw the blue, like I don't know why, but I couldn't figure out what it was, like hollow, almost like an IV would be hollow. An IV would be hollow. Like an IV would be hollow. And I couldn't figure out why this blue thing would be like a cylinder is the best way to describe it. And you were like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was the one thing. So when they were ready, like they gave her the sedative, and my mom came back and got me. She's like, if you want to say like a final goodbye, like, now's the time. So I went out there. I didn't even look up. I didn't look at the lady. I just looked at Sammy like the whole time. I got on the ground with her, hugged her. When I turned my head, I saw the syringe in the lady's hand, and it had a freaking blue cap on the actual needle. And I just glanced at it and just like noticed that she was holding a needle with a blue cap, and she started to reach for Sammy's leg, and that's when I got back up and she's like, okay, I'm about to do it. So me and my mom both left. But so you said that, and right off the bat my mom was like, the bandage on Sammy's leg was blue and the needle was blue, and I'm like, I saw the needle cap, but I didn't know about the bandage because I didn't even look at that.
So that's like the blue that I was seeing.
And the other thing you asked was, or what you told me, that it was Sammy's right leg.
Yeah, that it was her like right paw, and we just broke it down detail by detail, which was super sad, you know, but so validating that everything that I saw and experienced was what happened with Sammy.
Yes.
And then like at the end we kind of talked about, you know, why did this happen? And you said, I almost wonder if like you were just supposed to be there to help Sammy cross over.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, I was trying to think like, what's the reason? So I'm like, maybe she wanted you there to help her cross over,
which is like makes sense. And I was just I shot you down. I was like, I'm so sorry, like that's not why.
You're
wrong.
That's not why she wanted me there.
But I feel like the reason that she showed me, like that she, whether it was her that like had me there, or like a higher power, or like somebody for you looking out for you, whatever, like made me be able to visualize this and like be there for that part and see all of these details that you guys were able to confirm, you know, down to where it was, who it was, her putting the paw in her hand, like the things that she showed me was to let her know that like she was ready, you know, because that was the biggest question that your dad and your mom and like you guys had was you all knew that it was time, and like it was her time, and it's so sad, but like you're still like, it's your dog, and you've had him for your whole life, and like, was it really her time? Like I definitely struggled with that when I had to put my kitty.
That's the hardest part, is like, is it her time, or is this something she's gonna snap out of in 2 days?
And if you like knew and you had a crystal ball, you know, and you could predict the future like that, but you can't. So I feel like she showed me these things to let me know that she was ready, and that was your guys' like biggest needing closure.
So just the fact that she like showed you that, like her putting the paw in the lady's hand, like, I'm ready, like I know it's coming, like that's,
and the fact that she understood, you know what I mean, like I was there from a dog's point of view, and I understood what was happening, and
it's crazy.
Like I was calm and I was relaxed, and
and the crazy part is the night before I was like sobbing, crying, because I was looking at Benny and he'd like come running down the hallway, and I was like, he's just like not ready. Like if you look at Benny's eyes, like he still looks spry, like he's had more time left to live. Like he's old, but there's nothing like actually wrong with him. I was telling my mom, crying, I'm like, we can't put him down. And then I was saying like, but Sammy, it's like she's ready, and it's like she knows it's coming, because like if you hadn't even seen her for like the past week or so, but like if you looked into her eyes, like you could just see that she was like ready. It was so weird, but so just when you said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like such validation. So that's our crazy story. Believe it if you want. If you don't, you're crazy. I think it's the craziest thing. Just like every key thing that happened in that moment, like that's what you picked up on. And I didn't know any details. We hadn't talked about any of it. There's no possible way you could have known any of those things. But
it was really, really amazing, you know? And I don't know. I would never share anything like this, and I don't think you would either, except for the fact that we all deal with that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard, but the fact that they're able to validate that they're okay, you know, and things like this are able to happen, like, that's a little miracle.
Especially, like, with pets, because a lot of people watching this video, you might, like, firmly believe in the paranormal, but there's always the question of, well, what happens with pets? And so just hearing this is like, wow. Well, I'll add one more thing. So after it happened, my parents, we were all in the same room, and
you should talk about this with your parents, because it happened this morning too.
Oh,
just how you're going to talk about your mom.
Like when we see my mom? Okay. Yeah, because she's the one who experienced it. So we'll pick this back up when we're with my mom. But
all right.
So both my parents have been really busy, so we didn't get the chance to ask them what they experienced. So I'll just tell the story. This was before I even talked to Amanda. This was like 15 minutes after Sammy had been put down. My parents came back here and were talking to me, and we were all just crying or whatever. And they both started walking back out to the kitchen and down the hallway. And as they were walking, my dad turned around and said, "I just heard Sammy bark." And my mom instantly was like, "I swear on everything, I heard it too." And at the same time, they both said, "It sounded like Sammy's quiet bark." And the quiet bark is something that she started doing in the past month, where she, to get our attention since she couldn't get up, she would do this bark that was like, literally just like a woof, like woof, like literally just like that, very distinct bark. So both of them heard it at the exact same time, and they both said it came from the corner where Sammy's dog bed is, where she always laid. And they're not the type people, especially my dad's not the type person to just say something like that. I 100% believed it and thought it was crazy. And then the next day, Amanda came over and spent the night, and that following morning when we woke up, we were sitting here talking about it, and my mom was talking to us, and she was asking if Amanda had seen Sammy, and she said no. And then Amanda said, "I'm just waiting to hear her bark," because I had told her about that. 10 minutes later, we got up, and Amanda walked into the garage and shut the door, and the second she shut the door, me, my dad, and my mom all heard that exact same bark again. And we were like, no way. And I heard it too this time, and it was so distinct. And they were in the kitchen. I was all the way back in my bedroom. My dad and mom were like, "Oh my God, we heard Sammy bark again." And I was like, that wasn't one of the dogs? Because I heard it so clearly, and like just trying to be rational, I was like, that can't possibly be Sammy because she's not here. But they're like, yeah, no, it came from that area. Kaya was outside at the tree because that's where she likes to hang out. She wasn't in the house. Benny's bark is a very high-pitched, annoying, like, scream. So it wasn't him. So we put Sammy down Monday morning. That following night, my mom, my brother, and I were out in the kitchen just talking. And we hadn't really talked about it since, just because it's so emotional. Then someone brought Sammy up, and we started talking about her. And within 1 minute, the brand new lights, in November we remodeled the entire house, all new electrical, everything. The lights above the kitchen countertop dimmed so much, they fully went off for a second and came back on. And all of us just stopped and were like, there's no way the second we started talking about Sammy, the lights turn on and off. We felt a warm sensation, and we just knew, it just felt like she was there. And it's literally like the craziest thing. That's everything that's happened since she's been put down. So clearly she's still hanging around here and letting us know she's okay. And I'll tell one last thing, and this might be a reach, so take it with a grain of salt. But 2 days ago, me and my mom pulled into the driveway, and my van is also parked in the driveway. As we were backing out, we literally just pulled in, grabbed Kaya, got in the car, and started backing out again. And as we were backing out, I saw, it looked like an animal behind my van, and it was, Benny and Sammy are pretty much the same color. I saw that color, but it looked like Sammy. I'm just gonna say it looked like Sammy laying there. And for a minute, I'm like, oh, there's Sammy, because she'd always lay in that spot. She'd walk over there and lay down, and she would just lay at the front of the garage right there. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, there's Sammy. And then I realized Sammy's not here anymore. And I told my mom, like, oh my God, is Benny outside? I was just trying to figure out what I was just trying to be rational. And she's like, no, he's not. So Benny wasn't outside, but I 100% saw the fur that was Sammy's color moving behind the van for a split second. It would be as if she was just passing by for a second. And it was, I'm taking that one with a grain of salt because I can't wrap my mind around it, but I saw it enough to the point where I was like, oh, that's Sammy laying there. And then I realized Sammy can't possibly be laying there. So yeah, those are the experiences we've had with her since she's passed away. And I know it sounds crazy to say because, I don't know, it just sounds crazy. But yeah, so long story short, I guess our pets are still with us. And I mean, Amanda's been seeing my cat weekly since he passed away. So if you've lost a pet, just know that they definitely are still there.
Well, you're gonna just have to get your mom's and your dad's opinion on this whole thing because they have some crazy stories with what happened with Sammy.
Yeah, they do. Insane things, but more so by the end, everyone was crying. My dad was crying, and it's just crazy.
And that's what I'm here for.
Because all my dad wanted was validation, and then you happened to call and got it like right away, 30 minutes after, and he's like, just so appreciative. What do you keep saying to you? You're amazing, Amanda. You're like,
incredible.
You're like, there's nothing
like,
you could even reply with. Yeah, you're incredible. That is just the best thing that could have happened for sure.
But if you've lost a pet out there, we're so sorry.
Yeah.
Join the club.
It's rough. But, and then the other thing was, you kept seeing my cat at your house all day, the same day, so.
Definitely crazy coincidences, but if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, give it a little think.
Other than that, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.